Hello everyone, so today's video, I'm back in this bungalow again. This is the one I did the stud work in. I mean, I put the roof on, but I didn't video that. I think I did the window board video in this one as well. So anyway, it's dried out enough now to the point that we can start fitting the kitchen. Possibly do this in two parts. The first part will be showing how I set out and put the base units in, and then I think I might do the tall units then, and then I'll do the wall units after that. So I'll just set it up in the corner, put a bit of time lapse on maybe, and then I'll talk through each bit as I come to it. Right now I've lugged the units in. The first job I'm going to do is set a datum point for the height of the base units to go to. Now usually this is a fairly sort of bog standard type kitchen. Pretty much all kitchens, certainly the ones that I deal with, the height of the wall units and the base units is 720 millimeters, and obviously whatever width they come in, usually divisible by 100. So the base units are 720. We usually have 150 mil plinth. So if you add those two up, and then I'm going to give a little bit of tolerance as well, just to allow a tiny gap above between the plinth and the bottom of the unit. Now what I do here, I know that this is a new build, so pretty much the floor's level and all the walls are upright, because I mean I built the walls, so I know they're upright. But I find it a good habit to get into is just putting a level on the floor just to see if you've got any high spots or low spots. And in this kitchen I've got two integrated appliances. I've got an integrated dishwasher and an integrated washing machine, and what I tend to do is mark my datum point from where those integrated appliances go, because then you find that if the floor goes up or down a bit, from that point you can adjust it on the legs and obviously on the plinth, either cutting some off the plinth or leaving a slightly bigger gap. But the issue you can have is, say for instance, if you started at a low spot with your measurement, and then by the time you get round to where the dishwasher or the washing machine's going, the floor raises up, you can sometimes have issues with not being able to fit the appliance in. And certainly things like wine coolers, we've had an issue before where the wine coolers pretty much take the full height right up to the underside of the worktop. So it's just something to keep an eye on. Think about where your appliances are going if they're integrated, and make sure that you've got a clear space between the floor and the underside of the worktop for those to fit in. So what I'm going to do is, I know where my integrated appliances go, so we'll drop a mark against the wall and that'll give us our datum point. So here's the rough position. I think we've got a sink unit just here, and then we've got an appliance either side of it. So down onto the floor, so I think we're covering 870, which is 150 mil plinth and the 720 carcass. I'm just going to go another bit of tolerance on that, so I'm going to go 875, and then that is our datum mark. And what I'll now do is set the laser up to that line, and then I can set all the tops of my units in. The laser's set up now, and what it's done is flung us a nice line all the way around there. So now what I'll do is put the legs on all these units, and I can wind the adjustable legs up and down until it hits or just kisses this laser line. I think I'm going to have to cut the back of a unit out, or make some holes in the back unit for this lot, and also probably going to have to make a hole in this corner unit to get that through. So I'll get on with that now. I'll maybe just put that on time lapse and get some of these units in. The first unit that I'll fit is this corner unit, and I'll work outwards each side from that. So this is a little curved end base unit, and I'm going to fix this to the wall. Now, what I'm going to do is put a screw through this gable here and hopefully find a stud here. Now, when I did the stud work, and whether or not you watched that video, I always mark my studs, so that's what I would call an external wall, although that isn't, it's a masonry wall. I always mark 400s from any masonry or external wall, and then I know that I can just measure along and should better find a stud on 400 centres, which are in this case. So let's see if my theory is correct, and if I measure along here to the nearest 400, I should be within a stud's width of finding a stud. Let's see if it works. Right, let's pull that tape along there, put it to that corner, get it there. So we've got 2.4, 2.8, so that's where the nearest stud should be. We might have a bit in dot and dab, so it might be a little further this way. So let's have a look and see if it's around about there. Come off the hour, come off the man. So if I got just a tiny pin here, so I don't make too much of a mess. Yeah! I love it when a plan comes together. There we go. So that is where my stud is. So I'll just go either way to find the edge of it. Yeah, so that's really good. I don't know why I'm surprised, but I knew it would be there. So that's one of the reasons it's always good to have a sort of a method when you're marking out your studs, because then when you come to do things like this, you pretty much know that you can find a stud quite easily. Right, so that's those few low-level base carcasses in, and what I'm going to do now is just get them set up exactly right. So we've got a gap here for integrated washing machine, and we've got a gap here for an integrated dishwasher. That's a 450 dishwasher. So this is all, it's all a little bit lively at the minute. I'll show you how I sort of attach them to the walls in a bit. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these gaps up so that they don't move when I set them to the wall. And what I'm going to use, I've just robbed some of the doorstop heads that we'll use later on when we come to hang the doors. And basically what I do is I span them across this opening and pin them into the top so that it keeps that distance exactly right. So I'll do that now, and then we can get on to setting those and fixing them to the wall. We'll just get it down into that gable. Now I'll just check the measurements. So this one going in here is a 600 appliance, so what I like to do is just give it just a couple of mil. You just give it a couple of mil extra just to get it in. So I'll do that about 602. Check the back. And that holds that gap exactly right, and now that won't move. And I'll do the same to the other one. Right, so that's all those low-level base units in. I was just about to show you how I go about fixing these to the wall, and I've double-checked my plan, and actually, although I've attached these units together, there's actually end panels that go in between them. So it just goes to show it's always a good idea to check your plans, to double-check your plans, but also as you're going through something like this, it never harms just to take a moment and double-check everything, just so you don't make a mistake and get further down the line and have to undo more work. So I'll just pop those screws out of those units and space them out, the 18mm for the end panels. So I've just got to fit these the little dummy end panels in either side of this unit here, and what I've done is just a little tip just to make it easier. I've just fixed, these are the wall cabinet mounting brackets. I've just fixed those to the top here. I have, in MDF it's good to pilot drill it first so it doesn't split, and what that'll help me do is when I go to put that end unit, that panel in there, just spread it a bit more. When I go to put that end panel in here, like that, it just means that as I then concentrate on I'm going to bring this out 20mm past the face of the carcass here, it just means that I haven't got to hold it up as well. So that'll just hang there and I can just move it backwards and forwards. And then when I get it in exactly the right position, I can just take those two brackets off. Right, so finally, all of these units are ready to be fixed to the wall. Now, I don't actually screw these to the wall. They give you little angle brackets that you screw onto the back of the carcass and you screw to the wall. There's a couple of reasons for that. Mainly that if you're fitting kitchens, or in my experience, fitting kitchens in sort of domestic environment, you know, where there's already a house is already having a new kitchen fitted in it. An existing house is having a kitchen fitted in it. The last thing you want to be doing is drilling holes in the wall. So you want to keep the holes that you drill into the wall to a minimum. Now this is a new build and I know where all the pipes and wires are in here, but I still try, if I can, I try not to put screws into the wall. So obviously on the wall units we'll have to, but on the base units, all I'm simply going to do is I've cut these are MDF tabs. They could be anything, softwood or chipboard, and about 30mm wide, 100mm long and 18mm thick, and simply all I'll do is put some of this high performance adhesive on those and then stick them in here. So that just forms like a tab that sticks. I put adhesive on the side that sticks to the gable of the kitchen unit and adhesive on the side that sticks to the wall. Now I know you might think, oh, you know, that's not really a good enough fixing, but when you think about these units, they don't actually do anything. Gravity sort of holds them in place. With that tab, it'll just hold them in place back to the wall, and then when the worktop is put on, the worktop, this is having a stone worktop in it, the stone worktop is then, they use adhesive to stick the stone worktop to the wall units, and I think then they even run a bead of silicone around the back of the unit, and then they put an upstand splashback on the back of it. So by the time all that's in and bonded and stuck to these units, they literally will not go anywhere. So in real terms, this tab I'm putting on is pretty much just to hold it in place until the worktop's fitted. And it's quick and easy, and as I said, you don't have to drill holes into the walls. So just put a bead on the edge and the side, and then that will just fit in there like that. Just a tiny little wiggle up and down just to spread the adhesive, and that's it. You don't have to worry about it dropping, because this is a really good adhesive and it gets a really good suction straight away. So we just put that in there like that, give it a wiggle, and there. And when that goes off, that'll be absolutely rock solid. And if the worst happened that we did need to get it off for any other reason, it will pull off. It'll probably just put a bit of plaster with it. That's all those base units in, and I've stuck them back to the wall. So the next thing to do is to try and get these tall units in. So that'll be the next thing that I'll be doing.